welcome to the A-List. I'm Stasha Morales, and joining me on this edition today is Windy City Rollers' very own Pominatrix. Hello, Pominatrix, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, how did you start doing roller derby?
It was pretty simple, and I think a lot of women have the same experience, but I just went to the game as a fan, and all it took was about 10 minutes of me watching the game, and my mouth was hanging open like this, and my husband looked over at me and he said, those girls are gonna kick your butt. I'm like, I know. And that was it. I started skating like the very next week, and I tried out a couple months later. So I was a fan.
So how did you try out for your team? Did they just tell you when the tryout was and you went?
Yeah, they also give you some information on what you can do to kind of prepare for tryouts. So they recommend that you go to the local skating rinks and work on your skills a little bit, work on speed skating, which I had already been doing because my background is speed skating. And then you go to the tryouts and you pretty much get your butt kicked for 3 hours. And then if you can stand up, they say, congratulations, welcome to Windy City Rollers.
So what exactly goes on during a training? It's just like a practice game?
Yeah, we have practices available 7 days a week. So you're responsible as a skater to participate in about 65% of them. So, 3 to 4 days a week you're expected to be on skates training. Sometimes it's speed skating, sometimes it's positional skills like jamming practices or blocking practices. Sometimes it's your team practice where you're working on your own personal team strategy. And sometimes it's off skates where you're just working on strength and injury prevention and that sort of thing.
So what team did you want to be on when you saw?
I tried really hard to not have my heart set on one team because you don't get to pick as a skater. You're drafted onto those teams. So I didn't want to make myself really have a desire for a certain team in case I didn't get to be on them. I did secretly really want to be on the Hells Bells because I liked their logo. I liked their little pinup girl. But it took me. I got pretty lucky.
So your dream did come true?
My dream did come true, and I became on the Hells Bells.
What position do you play?
I am what you would call a triple threat. I play jammer and blocker and pivot. I play all the positions.
Do you have a preference in the positions?
I prefer to block. I like smashing. So
Well, I think everybody just likes a quick hip check to somebody else.
Exactly. It's pretty fun.
What exactly is a pivot or a jammer?
The jammer is kind of like the point scorer. She's like the football. She's the one who is skating, racing around the track, trying to get points from the other team. The way that it works is there's 2 packs of 4 blockers and then 2 jammers. So the jammers are racing each other around the track, and every time they pass an opposing blocker, they get a point. The blocker's job is to try to keep the jammers out and then offensively make room for their own jammer to get through.
It looks pretty rough out there. As you said, then you're blocking and jamming. So what does it take to be out in there?
Oh, it takes definitely a lot of courage because it is very, very physical, and there's no fake anything. Back in the old days, roller derby was very staged, much like wrestling, where there was fake fights and fake penalties, and that's not modern roller derby. It's very much a contact sport, and it hurts. But somehow, in the middle of the game, when all the adrenaline is kind of rushing, you forget about the fact that you just got your clock knocked and you just go on, and then you wake up the next day and you go, oh, what happened to me, man? So it definitely takes some courage, and then it takes a lot of strength training too. We spend a lot of time lifting weights and doing small muscle group training to prevent injury on our joints, and a lot of practice. You can't just go randomly hit people. We have a very technical way of training people how to hit each other.
So do you ever worry about hurting someone when you're, to use your own words, clock knocking?
Yeah, I do. I do worry about hurting people. Not as much now. I've been doing it long enough that it comes kind of second nature. But in the beginning, it was scary. It's scary to have someone big coming at you, and you have a tendency to kind of go like this, which is how you get injured. And hurting other people is a real thing that happens. There's a lot of girls that are really small and fragile, and if you're kind of a bigger girl, it's really easy to be afraid that you're going to hurt people. And when you see someone fall as a result of what you did and then lay on the floor and we have to stop the game, it's pretty scary to watch that happen. I actually broke the ribs of one of my best friends, and that was kind of scary. I felt a little bad.
I guess anyone would feel bad if you hurt your friend.
Yeah.
Have you ever been injured?
Yes, several times. I tore a ligament in my knee about 3 weeks into playing roller derby, actually, and I've broken both of my pinkies, and I broke my nose, and I cracked my ribs, and most recently I had a pretty severe concussion and tore a ligament in my neck as a result of a crash. So it happens. You sign up for that, though.
So you're a warrior, I guess.
I'm a warrior. I say that all the time. I'm glad you said that. I'm a warrior.
How does this work with like everyday life? I mean, it seems like you have to be very dedicated to the sport.
It does take a significant amount of dedication. All of us have day jobs. You know, some of us, I'm a business owner. There's girls who are teachers and lawyers and doctors, and we have all different people that do roller derby. So you're doing your day job. Some of us are moms, like myself, and so you're also helping to raise a family and be a member of a family. And then at the same time, you have this whole other family on the side that's really counting on you to train and to show up and bring your A game every time you're there. And it definitely takes a lot of balance.
Oh, so you said your daughter. Would you ever let her do roller derby?
It's funny you say that because I'm now actually coaching a junior league, Second City Slaughter, and she's at the age right now that she's right on the edge of being able to start playing. And I want to encourage her to do it because I think it's very empowering, especially for young girls that are still trying to kind of figure out who they are. But as a mom, it's really scary because I know the likelihood of injury, and especially concussions are really scary. And so there's part of me that wants to protect her, but the other part of me knows how good it can be for her. So
you're kind of a role model. How do you get into that role when you're helping these girls?
That's hard. It's really hard. I love being a role model for these girls. I really hope that I can be a positive influence. I think that I kind of don't fit in the stereotype of what a lot of teenagers think a 42-year-old mom should be. I have pink hair. I play roller derby and I have tattoos, and I think that a lot of people that are that age think of 42-year-old women as being soccer moms. And so it's fun for me to be able to say, look, I'm cool. I own a business. I'm very responsible, but I still can have my own personality. And so I think that it's cool to be able to show these girls that, roller derby really can allow you to really be in touch with who you are, and have respect for yourself while at the same time saying, this is who I am, and I don't care what you think.
Do you have any moves or tricks that you've had to learn?
Because I'm a speed skater first, my tendency is to always be really fast. I have a lot of fast footwork, and that has gotten me in trouble a lot because in modern roller derby, you have to stay within 20 feet of the pack or you get an out of play penalty and you'll go to the box. So especially when I'm blocking, I'm faster than a lot of the jammers out there, so I have a really bad habit of racing them down to try to hit them, and then I get it out of play and I get sent to the penalty box. So I've had to actually learn how to not roller skate. when I play derby, I've had to really learn how to practice my fast stops and how to slow down a little bit, and it's hard to do actually.
So you had to learn how to do fast stops. Is that where you kind of skid or just?
Yeah, like hockey stops is what we call it. So it's just a real quick motion where you stop on a dime like that, and it's something that a lot of people are really good at, and a lot of people are really not good at it. You either get it or you don't, and I don't. I don't get it.
Do you have anything that you're really good at for this, as you said?
Well, besides being really fast, I'm really super agile, and so I can do a lot of the things where you bounce around on your toe stops, and I can turn around really fast and do the fast turns like that, and I think that's definitely pretty helpful to me.
Well, I understand that you're also a trainer for the roller derby. Does that help you as well, because you're also learning what you can do too?
Definitely. I think that anytime you have the ability to teach other people, you're going to learn on your own too. So, you're learning from the students that are in your class. So it's the same thing with roller derby. When I'm leading a practice, there's always someone that has some sort of insight as to how to make the drill better, or hey, what if we do it like this instead? And it's good. It's a good way to learn by being around so many other people that are equally as good, if not better.
Do you do anything else for the roller derby league?
Currently, I am the mascot for the Hells Bells. since I'm on an injury break, I'm being the cheerleader for the team, which is kind of fun. In the past, I was captain of one of the travel teams, and I was the director of the training committee for 2 seasons, which is one of the leadership positions that you sign up for. On the league, we're an all-volunteer league, so everyone that's there has some job, and that helps to make the league run. So every year you run for a position, and then there are a bunch of leaders that are put into place to help keep the league organized. And I was one of them for a while.
Oh, that's really cool. So you helped run the league, then you were in it, and so you're very well-rounded. Very
well-rounded and very overworked.
Well, how do you balance all this with also being a business owner?
Yeah, it's really hard. I had to find ways to make a lot of lists and to delegate. You know, that's really, being a good leader is being a really good delegator and being able to find other people that were capable of doing a lot of the jobs for me. So it took a while, but we got it into place, and everything is running really well now. So,
out of my own personal curiosity, do you name yourselves, or does somebody name you?
You know, sometimes girls come into the league already knowing what their name is going to be. They've probably been a fan before, and so they've been thinking, you know, that's what a lot of people do at the games, is what would my derby name be? And it's kind of a fun thing to do on the weekends, is think about what's your derby name? But there's always the girls that have no idea what their name's going to be. And there was one girl, actually, the first year that I was on the league, we were drafted together at the same time. She could not think of a derby name, and it was several weeks that she just couldn't come up with anything. And so one of the captains actually said, Amy, if you can't figure out your name, we're going to give you one. It's going to be Amy No Namey. And it stuck, and that became her derby name, Amy No Namey.
Did you come up with your own name, or did the team help pick yours as well?
I had a little bit of help coming up with my name. Everyone, that's kind of happens sometimes, that people have ideas. I knew that I was going to include Pom because I used to be a cheerleader, and I had pom-poms on my roller skates, and so Pom was kind of my nickname anyway. So it was just a matter of coming up with the rest of it. And since I am also a personal trainer, I actually had someone that said, I can't believe I pay you for this abuse. You're like my own personal dominatrix. And so that's where Pominatrix came from.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, just another question. So, while you're doing this, when you're out there, do you ever think, man, all these people are watching me? What do I do?
You know, you'd be really surprised how when you're in there in this huge stadium, you really forget that there's people out there because you're so in tune to the game. That's the idea, is you want to forget that there's people out there. So occasionally you stop and you hear the crowd roaring and you're like, wow, where did you come from? So hopefully you're focused on the game and not what's happening in the stands. But it's pretty fun.
Do you think this has really helped fulfill your life and given you things that you think you wouldn't have had without roller derby?
You know, that definitely has happened. I never imagined that roller derby would have fulfilled me personally so much. Having this huge network of people and all these girls, it's pretty amazing. And the bonus is, as a hairstylist, I now have a lot of clients that are really fun. So it's a bonus.
Do your clients ever ask you, you're a hairdresser, how did you start doing roller derby?
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. It's one of my clients' favorite things. I have a lot of people that think I'm so cool because I play roller derby, and they love to come in and talk about it. But, you know, there's nothing about being cool that is involved in roller derby. It's purely 100% having the dedication and the willingness to work hard and being able to let your ego go, because you're going to get your butt kicked. And you have to be willing to just say, you know what, I'm okay with that. That's how I'm going to get better.
Well, I think you have a ton of guts. And I don't think I would ever be able to do something like that. But I think it's really cool that you do.
You'd be surprised. It'll make you very strong, physically and mentally.
Mentally?
Let's go get some roller skates.
I think I would fall a lot. So when you mean mentally, do you have to sit there before a game and do a little routine?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of mental capacity that it takes to play derby. There's so many things happening at once. There is a million things happening at once, and you know, your first season you spend the whole time just trying to figure out what's happening on the track. It takes a while to be able to quiet all of those external stimulations so that you can really focus on what your job is. So you do have to do a little bit of visualization and learn a little bit how to be kind of zen and how to just quiet everything. And it definitely takes a little meditation. We do that as a team a lot in the locker room beforehand. We'll all kind of get into our little zen zone and quiet down. And it's a good skill to have.
Well, this has been really great, and I want to thank you for being on the show. That's all that we have time for. Thanks for watching The A-List. I'm Stasha Morales.